Every war, every oil deal, every global financial crisis. It almost always leads back to one thing. Not gold, not missiles, the US dollar, a piece of paper, a digital number, a promise. Yet this promise controls governments, decides who trades and who starves, who gets rich and who collapses. But how did one currency rise above all others? And what happens if this system finally breaks? For most of history, money was simple. Gold, silver, something you could touch. But World War I and II shattered Europe's economies. Only one nation emerged stronger, the United States. In 1944, at a meeting in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, the world needed a new financial system. The US held over 70% of the world's gold and its economy was booming. The deal was revolutionary. The US dollar would become the world's reserve currency. Other currencies would be pegged to it, and the dollar itself would be backed by gold. $1.35 per ounce. Suddenly the dollar was as good as gold, and every country needed it to trade, rebuild, and survive. America didn't just win the war, it rewrote the rules of money. For a while, the system worked. But by the 1960s, America was funding the Vietnam War and expanding programs at home by printing massive amounts of dollars. Other countries got nervous. There were way more dollars out there than the US had gold to back them up. Nations started demanding gold for their dollars. Facing a potential collapse, President Nixon made a shocking move in 1971. He announced the US would no longer exchange dollars for gold. The gold promise was broken. By all logic, the dollar should have collapsed. But it didn't. Why? Because America had a new ace up its sleeve. That ace was oil. In the 1970s, the US struck a quiet deal with Saudi Arabia, the world's largest oil exporter. The deal was simple. Oil would be priced and sold exclusively in US dollars. In return, the US would provide military protection. Soon, all of OPEC, the Organization of Oil Exporting Countries, adopted the same policy. This was the birth of the Petrodollar system. Suddenly, any country that wanted to buy oil needed US dollars first. This created a massive artificial global demand for American currency. The dollar was no longer backed by gold. It was backed by the world's need for energy and America's military might. This central role gives America an incredible power, the dollar as a weapon. Because most international trade flows through US-controlled financial systems like SWIFT, the US can effectively cut a country off from the global economy. These are called sanctions. It's not about dropping bombs. It's financial suffocation. Look at countries like Iran or Russia. When they're cut off from the dollar system, their economies can be crippled. Inflation skyrockets, they can't import essential goods, and their people suffer. It's a form of modern warfare, and it only works because the dollar is at the center of everything. This unique position also allows the US to do something no other country can: print massive amounts of money without immediate consequences. When most countries print too much, they face hyperinflation. But when America prints dollars, the rest of the world has to absorb them. Foreign governments buy US debt to hold as reserves, and global commodities are priced in dollars. This is often called exporting inflation. The US gets to run huge deficits, while the cost is spread across the entire globe. It's an incredible privilege that underpins the dollar's continued dominance. But nothing lasts forever. Challenges are emerging. The BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa are actively talking about de-dollarization. They want to trade in their own currencies, bypassing the dollar entirely. China is pushing its currency, the yuan, for oil trades. Russia is seeking alternatives out of necessity. But replacing the dollar isn't just about creating a new currency or a new payment system. It's about trust, deep financial markets, political stability, and unmatched military power. Right now, no other country or currency offers the complete package. So, what would happen if the dollar did collapse? It wouldn't just be an American problem. It would be a global catastrophe. Global trade would freeze. Debt markets would implode. We'd see chaos in oil prices, and stock markets would crash worldwide. America would face hyperinflation, but since every other country is so deeply integrated into the dollar system, they would be dragged down too. A dollar collapse would be everyone's problem. The real question isn't whether the dollar will collapse tomorrow. It's how long one nation can control the world as money before the world decides it has had enough. The US dollar rules the world not because it's perfect, but because the system built around it is unmatched. For now, history shows us that every empire believes its power is permanent, until it isn't. And when the nature of money changes, the world changes with it. Thanks for watching. If you found this interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.